my fellow degenerates, Cookboss88 here, and welcome to the long-awaited sequel of Adastra. We have Kemiya, the very first public build. I'm actually very excited. I have finished the first build of this. I wasn't able to show it to you guys because it was still technically Patreon exclusive content. So right now, let's just start right now because this is gonna be very exciting. Alright, hold on. There we go. I lay back in the cool blackness of my mind. It's nice, a sort of half meditation that my mindfulness teacher once taught me several years ago. It helps to calm my mind, it helps to calm my mind, pull it inward from the outward chaos. It makes me forget the responsibilities that rest upon my shoulders. Mainly, they rest on my mentor's shoulders, but in turn, he rests upon mine. Focus. I admire the way I'm able to isolate my mind in a place such as this. For many months afterwards, setting foot within these walls sent me into a fit of gasping as if I were drowning. Now I imagine it to be a different place in time and space. The events are 3 years behind me. Not only that, but that point in space in which it occurred billions of kilometers away in a void that we shall never return to. The halls of the university are only an illusion of a consistent space. Rather, we are at a different point in the universe. Every moment we exist, whether that be at home, school, or on a diplomatic mission to Kemiya. Therefore, I am free from that moment and that place. Now I am in a clean space. That's exactly the kind of place I need mentally to keep this assignment. A type of assignment I've wanted my whole life. A sound mind is one of our most important assets. The past is in the past. Yet the framing of the space is consistent as I just reasoned. The marble, the statues, the lecture halls, these were all here when it happened, and they are here now. So is it really clean? Stone doesn't live, therefore it cannot witness. But is that even true? I realize my meditation is veering off course, but it's easy to be distracted when you're laying on a bench made of marble and your head is beginning to ache. That's what you get for laying on something very, very hard. Then my concentration is broken, and I sigh, rubbing my paws over the cool, polished marble. Do these marble benches and pillars witness and absorb the lives that speak and move around you? If so, then simply distancing myself from a point in space is useless. Let me just move closer to the mic. The objects most important to the event continue to exist nearby. The idea of buildings embodying a character isn't my own. My instructor in Adastra architecture once said that long-lasting structures assume identities more distinct than the people who built them, especially as time we witnessed it. We saw you bleed. This is the voice that we heard in the first build the first kind of build that I wasn't able to show you guys because again it was still considered Patreon exclusive content, so I wasn't able to show it. I opened my eyes, disturbed by what seemed to be both an inner and audible voice. In fact, I pinpoint it to the statue right in front of me, the one of Antonia crouched on her pedestal. I frowned, staring at it. I'd certainly heard something from that direction, like a whisper. There is no question that this university is filled with unamalgamated spirits. Even in the bright morning light that pours through the windows, Antonia appears eerie to me. Of course, her most famous deed was being as asymptomatic carrier of Lucius fever while a prisoner of the jackals, the outbreak killing thousands. If any statue is haunted, it is likely hers. Calm down, son, it's just a statue. And then as I move across the hall, she seems to follow me in her gaze. Can we just like appreciate the art here? God damn, that's really good art. Okay. Not just her eyes, but her head as well. But it's so distinct that I have to. Scipio! Oh gods! I leap into the air, stumbling away from the sudden voice and movement. Viteris, must you shout? Hello, old man. I remember way back in the first build, I ended up hating him because he sounds so much like a boomer. Am I shouting? I consider this to be a perfectly reasonable volume. I suppose my advancement in age only continues, and you must learn to live with it. Okay, boomer. I rub my chest, looking over at the statue, that strange, dark feeling slowly dissipating. You did not wait for me at the entrance to the forest this morning, thus my journey was rather dull. Do you find me all that interesting? I moved towards a bench, one further away from the statue of Antonia. Viteris, now you've really managed to capture attention of the flower jackal in the past few weeks. You most certainly are. He is most interesting. And yet you insult him in the same breath. He is a flower, what of it? He is a Chemian. Even Chemians have the boundaries of gender. That jackal seems just as happy to be treated as a woman as he is to be treated as a man. You frickin' boomer, I hate you. I sigh, feeling the chasm between our differences in age, now more than ever. Okay, Viteris was once thought of as a leading social progressive back in the days that Amicus's father ruled. Now with Amicus on the throne, much has changed and he's rather popular with those of my age. Not so much with Viteris. As much as I enjoy your conversations on topics such as the latest fashions and imported Chemian amusement tech, I was actually asked by Amicus to discuss a few things with you. That did not feel right to me. Okay, I feel a falling feeling in my chest, wondering if I've done something wrong. 2 years ago, Viteris had picked his top 3 students of Chemian culture to train as his assistant and backup for the mission. I had to be one of them. Just last week, I was officially chosen by both Amicus and Viteris. This was despite the fact that I was solidly middling between the other 2 students in our studies. Carbo should have been the one to go. I was certain it was a dream. And now I wonder if reality is about to catch up with me. It was probably clear that my mind hasn't always been in the present. Sit, Scipio. I do as I'm told, trying to keep my expression stoic as to avoid embarrassment no matter which way this conversation leads. Oh, change of perspective, nice. Viteris. Now, do you know why you were picked to accompany this mission? I tried to think of a reason that won't make me sound too egotistical. My knowledge of Kemiya, especially the youth culture there. Viteris waves his paw. Oh please, Chemian youth culture, as you say, does not matter. Besides, Carbu knew more than you. Ow! Ah. I blush, even though it's a true and fair statement. Don't agree with him. Don't agree with a boomer. Come on. Well, the only other reason might be my relationship to Neferu. See, this is the reason. Way back in the first build, I ended up shipping Neferu and Scipio for obvious reasons. But come on, because they're cute. And Brunus, you cultivated casual Chemian friendship with them with very little effort. Of course, I did know that having some type of relationship with the actual Chemians we had here would be important. Over the past year, I've made time to speak to them after each of our meetings, making sure to casually greet them if Amicus or Viteris walk by. I don't know them well, but I need some type of advantage over Carbo. I tried to make it obvious that while Carbo had his nose in his books, I was talking to real Chemians in casual and friendly way. It seems I made the correct gamble. It's not difficult. It is difficult for a wolf. Casual friendships only create opportunity for casual betrayals. However, he glances at me from under his bushy eyebrows. It provides opportunity for the casual gathering of intelligence as well. I wince. You want me to spy? Amicus would simply like for you to keep an eye on them. As we know by now, Chemian bluntness is a myth. We can never be sure of their true intentions. I did become their friend with the sole purpose of personal gain in mind. The friendly feelings were genuine and spying on them doesn't feel quite right. I don't. You accepted the position of a diplomat, thus you accepted the responsibility to gather intelligence for your emperor. It is part of your many responsibilities now. Where do I even start? Don't ask me, I'm simply an advisor to the emperor on Khemian politics and culture. He only wanted me to prepare you so that it will not come as a complete surprise when you begin training. See, this is one of the reasons why I'm questioning. Questioning why Scipio was there in the first place. If he doesn't have any proper training, why would they put him there? I'm quiet for a moment, knowing that I should been expecting something like this eventually. Do you feel like we're up to the task? A target like the Pharaoh should be a lucrative one. There he is! There he is! There's the lovable nerd that we're gonna love. There he is! let me just see here. There he is. There he is. He has that look, like nerdy hunk look, like Freddie Benson in later seasons of iCarly. Do people still remember iCarly? I don't know. I smile. Of course, I did accept the position. Like you said, however, the Pharaoh is smarter than he'd have you believe. I doubt he'll give anything away. Oh no, that jackal's head is full of sand. Even the Emperor has publicly said so. Have you not considered that they're planting him to better spy on us? That gives my mentor pause. Then he shrugs. If they are, then there are some serious issues in the uppermost echelons. Fuck it, I don't care. Echelons of Chemian power. It's well known the Pharaoh is being punished by being here. I mean, he hates his son so much he sent him to live in the same palace as a general from the old war. A general that would unsurprisingly kick his balls into orbit. I sigh, feeling sorry for the jackal, like I always do when I remember that event, immortalized by drone footage, is what the jackal is most well known for. Yeah. It's not the fact that he almost got killed by Kato. It's not the fact that he was caught on tape having the naughties with Amicus. It's this. It's getting kicked in the balls by Kato. Not those other two more controversial stuff, but this. Footage of Neferu getting kicked in the balls. That's that's more important, yeah. He walks in a few moments later with Brunus, the Chemian ambassador to Adastra. Oh, hello there! Hello there! Who are you? Oh, who back? No, you don't know. Who are you? Oh, hello, Neferu, you're there too. I don't really care anymore. Hello there, big fella. Hello there. He thick. I like him already. They nod at me as usual, but they take their seats in the far corner of the room, apparently taking this time to discuss their own matters. The rest of the planned envoy showed up shortly after, and we began our bi-weekly meetings. It feels slightly different now that my peers are gone, but aside from the room feeling a little more empty, business progress as usual. It's a rather casual affair. It's not a depressing one due to our lack of progress. That is, unless the vizier showed up. He does so unannounced every few months or so after arriving on the stretch. Otherwise, we discuss how Wolver's society and culture should approach these various Chemian counterparts. Then Amicus and the Pharaoh argue for a while about how wolves must learn to separate diplomacy from outright lies, which Amicus agrees is the same thing. Then we get the usual somber news from Com about the situation on Earth. Oh, that's us. Today is no different. Amicus always goes quiet during these moments, especially now that the news is especially grim. You will recall that 3 days ago, after the death of 3 American diplomats who came into contact with the human, it had been discovered that he is sporadically shedding aviapox virus. Unfortunately, there have been For further developments in which one of the diplomats visited an establishment that serves food and beverage. Four British officials were infected. Hold on. Okay, four British officials were infected by this diplomat and all subsequently perished in the past 2 days. The human has been placed in quarantine and talks between nations have come to a halt for the time being. The United Nations of America and the United Kingdom have threatened to withdraw from talks if there are further casualties. I don't understand many of the Earth words, but I know the news is bad. How could aviapox be so lethal to these humans? Because we're aliens. In relativity, we are the aliens. And these threats to end talks, being part of the Galaxias, makes one unused to the idea of hard borders on one's own planet. There he is! There's our husband. Our angry husband. He's a lot chunkier than we remember. Amicus grumbles under his breath. How could they be so goddamn stupid? At first, I wonder if he's talking about the humans, which I find unfair. Then I wonder if he's speaking about the parents, which I find rather terrifying. Then he raises his voice. Do we know of any sapiens that can contract aviapox and remain contagious after initial infection? Ahem. I'm not a virologist, but considering how little we know of the effects of the virus in humans, anything could be possible. Yes, and due to the parental negligence, he's in quarantine. I'm beginning to think we need to bring him back, like back here, back home. Yes, bring us back home! Amicus almost shouts, the first time I've heard him do so. The parents do work in mysterious... Oh, fuck that. Fuck that thing. No. By sending my human apparently filled with virus while killing several others, what the hell are they playing at? Virginia, who had been silent through most of the discussion, clears her throat. Unfortunately, Amicus, we know that the parents are not able to foresee all things. We can only control our duties on our own plane of existence. When did you come in? I know his relationship with the human was close, though how close is wildly different depending on who you ask. We are married. Or engaged, but semantics, I don't care. It's clear he's more rattled than I've ever seen him though, his paws shaking on his knees. Speaking of which, you had something to announce to our envoy before the Empire as a whole, did you not? Did I? Virginia sighs. Oh yes, sorry, the parental catastrophe on Earth had me slightly distracted. As you all know, our discussion with the Vizier and the Pharaoh have gone nowhere. To show Kemiya that Adastra is truly dedicated to an alliance, Amicus swallows as if he's having trouble getting the words out of his throat. I will also be joining the envoy despite the many hardships this will bring our world. I do believe the benefits will outweigh the cost. Oh, you'll be joining us? I'm surprised. Even I wouldn't have given in to Father's pompous demands so easily. We negotiated for 3 months, the Pharaoh. Anyway, during this time, Virginia will fill the role of acting empress. I widen my eyes, if only because it's the first time I've heard such words put together. Viserys visibly blanches while the Pharaoh and Brunus barely react. Yeah, Viserys doesn't like this because he's a boomer. He's a boomer. He doesn't like progress, like having women be leaders. He's a boomer. He's always going to be a boomer. Thank you, Amicus. I will perform to the best of my abilities during your absence. You always do, Virginia. Yay. Sibling support ship. Yay. This means we should all keep in mind the fact that departure could occur any day now, depending on when the ship arrives. My eyes widen. So that's why I was chosen now. The day that was always seemed so distant and nigh. Now I must be off to have a discussion with the parents once again, to make sure we're actually still on some sort of track. It's dark by the time we're heading out. On the way, Amicus corners me to covertly ask him if I had this discussion with Viserys, which I confirm. Then Amicus glances over at Pharaoh, who is leaning up against the pillar. I take the hint as everyone else leaves. Everyone else leaves. I approach the jackal, suddenly feeling nervous for some reason. You're nervous because you have a crush on him. Am I right or am I right? For some reason, Not some reason, but because now things are different in my end. Well, hello there, chosen one. Usually it is me that approaches you. I shrug as casually as possible. Well, considering that my rule is now certain, I thought we should acquaint ourselves further. Acquaint ourselves meaning doing the naughties? Is that so? Well, how do you think we should do that? Do the naughties. Do the naughties. Well, I sidestep his theatrics. Do you have any interesting plans for tonight? Maybe you can help me better understand the Kemian way of things. Things in bed. That would be rather difficult to do on this planet. But as for plans, well, not particularly. Hey, ready to go, Neff? Oh, hey there, Skip. I want you in my life, Brunus. Hello. I'm at least able to not wince anymore whenever they use that children's nickname. That depends, Brunus. First, I was meaning to ask Skip if he would like to visit a den with me. I blink. That's not exactly something you should say loudly in a quiet room. That's also something he's never asked me, despite his notoriously promiscuous reputation. It is because I'm now guaranteed. Would he have asked the same of Carbo? Imagining that bookish wolf in this situation is worthy of a laugh. Maybe Viteris and Amicus know more about this relationship of ours than I do myself. Still, it's something I've done several times before. But the Pharaoh, being a Chemian, changes a lot. Well, alright then, have fun you two. The giant creature doesn't wait for my response before turning and heading out, leaving me alone with Neferu in the empty university. He's still waiting for an answer. Normally, with another wolf, male or female, I would agree. We'd stop at bars along the way and possibly not end up in a den. Newsflash, you're gonna end up in a den. It was a weekly occurrence during my first few years attending this university. Yet my heart flutters like I'm 10 years younger, about to experience a den for the first time. Yes, I'd like to. Wonderful. I suddenly feel a bit warm at the idea of a Chemian finding me attractive enough to bring me to a den. We're similar in structure, so it makes sense, but still. The Pharaoh offers his arm as if escorting me. There's an establishment in the Clay District. We can go. Ah. Is that a place you've had problems? Well, it's more the place that has a problem with me. They're not a fan of the elite. I say it with some exasperation, not really feeling elite in any way. That's calmed down a fair amount in the past 3 years, hasn't it? I still avoid it when I can. I'll keep you safe. He's right. He's right that it has been a long time, and as far as I know, no maned wolves have been attacked recently. Okay. No, it's nighttime. The jackal keeps my arm around the entire time. I speculate it's some sort of Chemian ritual before sexual intercourse. You make it sound like an Attenborough documentary. The jackal keeps my arm around this entire time. I speculate that it's some sort of Chemian ritual before sexual intercourse. I don't know if that's a good Attenborough narration, but whatever. I began taking mental notes. I quickly forget about the other, possibly hostile pedestrians as we got closer to the dens. I'm nervous, and that's embarrassing for someone like me, well into their 20s. The entrance is a shabby side door where Neferu signs in and pays, ignoring the stairs before we're led down to a narrow hall, then into our personal den. The lights are dimmed low, and Neferu fumbles with the switch while I sit on the bed. Okay. Ooh, this is nice. This is nice. Huh? Okay. As the artificial windows glow more brightly, Neferu, filling the room with light, I'm hit by nostalgia from a time that wasn't all that long ago. It's cramped, slightly tacky, but still pleasant. Dens are mainly frequented by students who were on their third warning for fornicating on campus. I still live on campus, and while I know Neferu lives in the Imperial District, I don't know his exact situation. I assume there's a reason he brought me here instead of his place. I assume you're familiar with this type of place? I glance at him, and he smiles toothily. Sexual intercourse is forbidden on all grounds of Pharaoh's University. Neferu rolls his eyes, grabbing a bottle of wine. And here I thought wolves are sexually liberated. Well, we are. It just happens to be the leading university in the room. Moon. The Pharaoh leans casually against the armrest, drinking straight from the bottle. I attend the best university in Galaxias, and there are rooms dedicated to the act on campus. I bristle just slightly at the dig at my school, even if it's true that most every school on Kemiya is far superior. I'm about to ask why he's brought me here instead of his own place, then he suddenly sits up. Ooh. Ooh, hear that sound? Hear that sound? Sounds like a porno. Something naughty's about to happen. Anyway, to celebrate our promotion, I thought I'd help you with your research on Chemians. Have you ever copulated one before? My throat is suddenly dry as I shake my head. Well, the jackal sits up, straighter, showing off his physique. His fur is shorter compared to mine, giving him the advantage of being able to show off this muscle on his chest and stomach. I'm gonna have to censor some of this, aren't I? Yeah, I'm gonna have to censor some of this. Finally, he slides down his... Oh. There we go. There we go. I'm gonna have to censor that. I'm gonna have to censor that. No. This jackal is moving boldly in a way that makes me wonder if he's trying to make it less strange for me. Get it all of the way quickly and get used to it. Although I know what to expect, I'm still left staring in fascination. I'm gonna have to censor some of these. He's thick though. He's thick though. Well, very different from my own. It kind of... Where's the volume block around this thing? There we go. It fits well on his frame, and as he moves closer, I find myself reaching out, sliding my paws up his thighs, then around to cup his rear. This is the moment that my hesitance drops. I pull the jackal in close, kissing his groin and abdomen, making him gasp. It's a long session of sorts, though not very much happens. I find myself indulging in the wine as well, as the Pharaoh seems to really enjoy simply touching me. At first, I'm a bit confused, unsure if it's some type of foreplay, but then I realize he's encouraging me to hug back. At some point, we simply end up entangled together. His arms were around me tightly, and I can smell the wine in his breath. I don't ask him because it would be rude, but I genuinely wonder if he is lonely. He is. He is. In a jackal being isolated in a moon full of wolves is very, very lonely, I can imagine. I reach back to rest a paw on his shoulder, just in case he needs reassurance, then slowly fall asleep. I wake up, and what happens in the following moments take many hours for me to put together in my mind. The door to our den is open, and I wonder why, because it should be locked. Is the Pharaoh... He's sleeping next to me. That's when a large, dark figure stands up beside our bed. There's something in his paw, and for a moment, I try to yell, but nothing happens. The dark, blocky shape of his head turns in my direction, noticing me awake, and my guts turn to water. There's almost ticklish sensation in my lower stomach that makes me think I'm urinating. He moves. Then there's a harsh, ear-splitting crack, and therefore, before my eyes, I see the man, the sapient, bent and warped in the space of a wave before blasting apart. I'm spattered by wetness, by smells that I haven't smelled since, oh dear God. A light goes on, floating around us, displaying the horror. "What the hell happened, Calm?" said the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh is moving around beside me, but I can't move. I smell this person all over me. I'm covered in him. An assassination was attempted on the lives of the Pharaoh and Scipio. Separatist connections are suspected. Amicus has been notified. The drone's light turns to illuminate the wall, and I see everything. No! Target fully neutralized. Bodily state is incompatible with life. No! Skip! I grasp my mane. I feel them pulling at it. They are coming in to pull me out? What? The Pharaoh finally focuses on me after fumbling around for the lights. I need to get out. I can't breathe. I roll off the bed, feeling the blood and viscera in my fur as I try to crawl under the bed, but find no space. Then I crawl behind the sofa, still covering my mane, avoiding the blood in the streets, avoiding the man with bricks torn from the university, avoiding looking at one of my old professors get his head smashed in with one of those bricks. Someone's calling me, damn it. God damn it. Avoiding looking at me, I cover my eyes, waiting. Someone, the Pharaoh, touches my shoulder, covering my mane and tremble until I'm finally able to bring the present back to focus, one that's no better than the past. I look up and see Neferu staring at me. He's seen it. He sees what's wrong with me. How will they ever let me go along now? I know I am not going to Kemiya anymore. Okay, I'm gonna have to end it here because someone is calling me and they are disturbing my recording. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to end it here for a bit. Suspect part 2 of this sooner. Yeah, this is the part. This is the part where the first build ended, and yeah, part 2 is gonna be gonna come out sooner. So, this has been Kemiya. What do you guys think? I think it has a strong start, and yeah, I can't wait to see more of this. So yeah, like, subscribe, and whatever the hell the things that you need to do to support me. That sounded so rude. I'm sorry. Yeah, see you guys.